Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio, here along with my sometimes friend Matt Allen from Virginia Auto Service. And we are here to help you with your car every Saturday from 11 to noon, right here on News Talk 92.3 KTAR. At Bumper Radio, we are helping you. It's all about you, the motoring public, have a better overall car repair experience. And all you got to do to get involved, and we want to get to know you, is give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. If you've got car questions, we've got answers. You can also stay in contact with us at 411-923. Today on the Bumper to Bumper Roadmap, fact or fiction, open phones. And as Cooper said, when is it time to put old Bessie down? When is that car no longer it's time for a pine box?
So, Dave, how do they keep in contact with us at 411-923? Is that a text that you meant to say?
Oh, yeah. Text us at 411-923. You can
participate by text. Your sometimes friend, huh?
Sometimes friend, exactly. And he's
pretty friendly when you needed help with that car the other day.
Matt's got a little bit of an evil side that no one knows about. He seems like a nice guy, but once in a while he says things and I say, man, that's just not right.
Felt evil. Well, I didn't feel evil this morning. I was irritated.
Sadistic side, a little bit of some of the things you say. You felt evil. Why this morning?
Did I feel evil or feel irritated?
Irritated.
Well, I was getting gas. I was trying to get gas. I was running around for the last 3 days with it saying miles till empty 0. And everywhere I was in a hurry, so I always just put in, 3 gallons real quick, so I didn't have time to sit there and fill up. But so I'm at Costco this morning trying to get gas. This guy pulls up, and isn't the proper gas station etiquette to pull forward? Go up so you can get 2 people. Meanwhile, he leaves a blank in front of him. I just give him a friendly toot. He's
friendly toot. You didn't lay on it because if you're that guy, I hate that guy.
No, it's just like little toot toot, like you might hear in a car commercial.
Did he move?
Yeah, after a second round of tooting and some hand gestures like forward.
You're number one?
No. It was no conflict, Dave. Come on, I'm not a conflict person. It was just kind of like the rolling hand motion, like, come on.
That's not irritating. Have you ever been waiting on a pump and someone pulls out and someone pulls right in front of you? You've been sitting there for 2 minutes waiting for this guy to get out of the way. That's morally bankrupt. Why would you do that? So anyway, when is it time to put old Bessie down? I think if you've been car shopping lately, Bessie may stick around a lot longer than you want her to.
Well, I was shocked, Dave, and we're always, not always, if there's a point you're in our shop, okay, and we're looking at your car, and at times you're going to maybe blow up an engine or blow a head gasket, or maybe just all these things that you've put off have caught up with you. And sometimes the common answer is, I'm just going to sell the car. Or the question is, people ask for advice. Do I fix this? If I don't fix it, what's going to happen? Or if I do, what's next? And I wish we had the crystal ball at times. But I about fell on the floor when I was reading this automotive news magazine about the pricing of cars. You have the great line, Dave. Why would you fix a $3,000 problem with a $30,000 car?
Right. Take a $3,000 problem, make it a $30,000
Well, the average average transaction price of a new car, second quarter 2013, nearly $31,000, a $5,000 increase from 2008.
$5,000 in 5 years, that's 12%, I think is what that works out
Something like that. But caused by what? Caused by federal government standards, tightening fuel economy and squeezing what they want.
There's certainly more bells and whistles. We got a lot of old cars on the road that we get, that the manufacturers want to get people out of. But here's what's interesting. The average price of the car payment was $457, which is actually down a few percent from 2008. And the reason why is, we just spread that loan out further. What are we talking about, 65 months, 82 months?
No, this one says the average term of a new car loan in second quarter 2013 is 65 months. But now they're stretching them with terms of 73 to 84 months, accounted for nearly 20% of the new car loans. Nothing wrong with owning the car 8 years.
Well, if you're
paying for it for 8 years,
if you're going to own it 8 years, you're talking about a negative, or finance it 8 years, negative equity situation, big time. So my point, You're in this car for the long haul. If you are going to let go of Bessie, you got to be taking care of it. There's no more skipping the recommendations because you've got to make this thing last 10 years.
If you've got 8 years of payments, that's 15,000 miles a year. Help me with my math. 80, 100, whatever, 20,000 miles or more. And then unless you just want to sign up for payments again, you've got to make this car last. And last week we talked about the cost of ownership and some of the basic maintenance items and starting to budget for this repair. So not only that $457 repair, but you start getting into year 2 and 3, you're going to have, you've got to start socking away maybe in year 1 and 2 or even 2 and 3, because once year 4 comes,
I thought you were going to throw up.
No, I was just choking. In some cases that's just tough, and that's the $30,000 car. And dude, I'm telling you, $30,000. Where'd my notes go? Impala, 2014 Impala, $30,700. Impala's not my favorite car, but nothing real special about it necessarily.
No,
it's not, and even people, get an SUV or get a Hyundai, they're cheaper, $30,000.
Well, here's what's happened. I mean, the manufacturers have been able to lift the prices. I mean, the prices have gone up.
That's the other dirty little secret.
The payments have gone out longer. The interest has been down. So we've been able to keep that car payment right there because we know that in the last 5 years, wages have not gone up. If anything, they're down 0.05%. So, how can the price of cars go up? Well, we've financed them longer. We've held onto the debt longer. And the problem with that is, I mean, for the auto manufacturers, if interest rates go up, cars are going to jump up by $100 a month.
That's the dirty little secret. This is not a repair industry magazine. This is a dealership type magazine. And what they've done, the manufacturers have taken advantage of the low interest rates, and because of the low rates, it's easier for people to buy car. Payments are down, so they've crept the price up. So they're just adding to their bottom line. And this article talks about their fear now. If interest rates go up, there's two things happening here. If interest rates go up, they've kind of shot themselves in the foot because they jacked those prices to pad the margin, and now people won't be able to finance them. And they're concerned about getting people into loans for 65 to 84 months. If you don't think they want to sell you a new car every 5 years, you're crazy, because they're very concerned about the life cycle, and people won't be ready to purchase again because the loans have stretched out.
Well, if we talk about the cars that I like to talk about, the 5-year-old car, the 10-year-old car, what if you're out there and you're facing a repair on your car? Maybe it's a $1,000 repair, or maybe it's $2,000 worth of $1,000 worth of maintenance plus $1,000 worth of repair, and you're saying, hey, should I just go be buying a new car? And we have a repair or replace calculator, because for me it's all about cost per mile. How much does it cost me to drive this car? And if you're driving a new car for the first 5 years, I mean, when it's like $2.50 a mile, I mean, is that really that sexy? Can we keep a car for longer? So do we take a $500 repair, a $1,000 repair, and just say, hey, it's time to go get a new car?
Well, at some point, that's.
I mean, Bessie's still got life in her, man. She may walk a little slow.
At some point, with some of the technology, maybe you want the Bluetooth, maybe you want the bells and whistles, or maybe you don't care about that. Let's just say you have a $4,500 repair that you need. You didn't take care of your car. Maybe you did. Maybe we tend to think people aren't taking care of things when they have a problem. Let's just say the hose blows. Something happens. You get a rock in the radiator and it blows up, and you don't realize you have a leak, and you cook the engine. It wouldn't be unreasonable to spend $5,000 putting an engine in a car. And I picked that $4,500 number because that's 10 car payments. So if you have a car that's decent, it's got good tires on it, and you like it, and you've taken care of it for the most part, and something really bad goes wrong, goes haywire, and you've got to spend a big chunk of change, that's 10 months and you're free again. You're not held hostage by 84 months or 65 months worth of payments again. You're free and clear again.
Well, I mean, if you certainly can afford it and money's no issue and you like the smell of a new car, go for it. Go out and buy a new one. But the reality is that I call it the Dave Ramsey math is, you're just going to put yourself on that debt hook for even longer. I'd rather have money in my back pocket and sleep well at night. That's the thing that I'm going for. So, and then when I have somebody considering that big repair, maybe they're not going to go out and buy a $30,000 new car, but they say, I'm just going to get a good used one.
Yeah, right.
Right? Well, I tell you what, you can get a good used one right here. We'll just rebuy this car for $4,000.
Well, that's the best used car to buy is your own.
Yeah.
And I think we've done the math on this several times before. In this case, we're talking a $6,000 or $7,000 car, or whatever. If it's blown up, it's not worth anything.
Zero.
You fix it. You take that $5,000 you were going to fix it with, $1,000 you could have sold it for. If you're going to take that same pool of money and buy a $6,000 car, you're better off with your own.
When we come back, we've got a board full of open lines at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. We can talk about anything you want to talk about related to your car, or if you're considering a repair, you can also text us at 411-923. You're listening to Bumper to Bumper Radio.
There have been so many changes in Phoenix over the past couple of decades, but one thing has not changed in all that time. Kurtz. Family owned and operated, Kurtz Auto Repair has been reliably servicing and repairing vehicles for Valley car owners for over 24 years. Just one block east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue in Bell, Kurtz has done it all with a perfect Better Business Bureau record. For service, call 602-588-2878 or check them out online at mycarhurts.com. Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurtz.
Now our dust storms are a haboob? Really? Haboob or not, when the summer storms come, they can bring the damaging winds and rains that could leave you and your home in bad shape. Don't wait for an emergency. If your roof is more than 10 years old, have the trusted pros at Kaiko Roofing give you a free inspection today. Flat, foam, tile, or shingles, Kaiko handles them all. From a small leak to a complete new roof, Kaiko has you covered. At Kaiko, we're proud to install peace of mind by using only the finest materials with the most skilled workers, all backed by the industry's best owner's pride guarantee. Since 1994, Kaiko has repaired or replaced tens of thousands of valley roofs, with over 50% of our business coming from referrals or repeat customers. In fact, over 98% of our customers say they would refer us to a friend or family member. For a free checkup and financing options, call 602-944-4600 or go to KaikoRoofing.com for more details. Kaiko Roofing. We're crazy about quality.
Fall temperatures in Arizona are optimal for golf. Long after a chill descends on our friends in other parts of the country, conditions remain beautiful at the Arizona Biltmore Golf Club. And while other Valley golf clubs are closed for overseeding, Arizona Biltmore boasts two legendary courses, the Adobe and the Links. So there's no disruption to play, just luscious grass and rolling fairways located right in the heart of Phoenix. What are you waiting for? Visit azbiltmoregc.com to book a tee time today or find out more about their overseeding schedule and courses.
My pappy said, son, you're going to drive me to drinking if you don't stop driving that hot rod Lincoln.
Bumper to Bumper on News Talk 92.3 KTAR.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and we are here to help you, the automotive repair consumer or car consumer, make good choices when it comes to your car. If you need any help, give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. You can also text us at 411-923. And gas station etiquette. I'm going to pick on the handicap etiquette. That's a topic of mine. You know, are you one of those people that uses the handicap parking because you happen to be in your grandmother's car and it's there? Do you take it? I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
My grandmother doesn't have a car.
She doesn't have a placard?
No, but
you know when you go
the thought no.
Tempting.
Sometimes, but nah. It's not, you know what would keep me? My kids would tell on me.
They
would. They pick up all that stuff. You know. What do you? Sometimes I don't put my seatbelt on until I get going, or I just. And boy, do I get hounded from the back seat. Papa, seatbelt. Yeah, I'll get it. Seatbelt.
Our kids, man, they do call us out. So
my God, do as I say, not as I do. Get yours on. Shush back there.
Oh, that's a hypocrite statement. What are you saying? So we've got Chris, John, and Tony in a couple open lines at 602-277-5827. We're going to go with Chris in Tempe on a 2000 Nissan Xtera. Go ahead, Chris. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Yes, thanks for taking my call. I had my air conditioner go out on me this week, and I took it to the dealership. They told me that the high-pressure and low-pressure hoses were leaking and to replace them. And as I've called around to a few different shops, some of them have these ones where they rebuild the hoses. And other places are like, no, we wouldn't give you those. We have to give you the OE on that. What's your take on these rebuild hoses?
Sometimes they're just fine. It's a matter of preference. Maybe the shop, has a relationship with somebody that can make those hoses. Dave, we know a guy. We have a friend, Art Nolte. He fixes tons of AC hoses, and he does them for the dealers too.
They're a great hose, and I'd be more than comfortable using them.
But sometimes it's just a matter of turnaround time. I mean, if we can order the hose, and I don't know sometimes the price difference can be substantial, because at the end of the day, that hose is connected. Rubber hose has two aluminum ends on it, and you're going to cut off some crimps and put a new piece of hose on there, and then we can crimp them with, have a crimping machine that's special for that. It's not just a piece of garden hose or anything in there. And that's a good repair. It may not always look as good, but there's a cost element to doing that too. It would cost less, but then we have the car taken apart longer, and it doesn't necessarily maybe help with production.
Well, sometimes hoses just aren't available anymore.
Well, that too.
So then you find yourself going ahead
and we do it with power steering hoses at times, air conditioning hoses. That would be about the only applications you do that with, and especially like you said, Dave, if something's not available. When they had these bankruptcies and all the problems years ago or a few years ago, you put out the little mom and pop shop that was a supplier for Ford. Maybe they got the contract to make the hoses for, whatever car for whatever period of time, and then they went bankrupt and they didn't pay their bill to old mom and pop.
Or if you happen to drive a Saab, you're going to be building that hose. You're not buying it from Saab. So. Yeah. Thanks so much for the call, Chris. We are going to go with, looks like Karen dropped out, so Tony in Glendale on a 1997 Ford Escort. Go ahead, Tony. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Well, thank you for taking my call. I've been trying for the longest to find a car for my daughter, and I actually drove behind someone and stopped on a 97 Ford Escort. 114,000 miles, and just want your professional opinion. I like what you said just before going to break about the wisdom of not spending a bunch of money on a long car or long time on a car versus buying a used car or making a used car work best for you. So my question is, the problem that I observed on it was AC. Well, they told me outright AC, and looking to sell it. What is your thought on buying used cars? I know the prices of them have gone very high.
Well, first and foremost, if you ever are going to buy a used car, my advice is to go get the car checked out. Go to a independent shop and have them look at the car. You're in Glendale, Dave's Car Care, 51st Avenue in Peoria. You're going to buy a car on a Saturday. That's the place to go, and you want to ask for a pre-purchase inspection. You might spend $50 to $100 doing that, depending on the shop you're in. And have them, when we do it at my shop, we are digging these cars apart. We're looking.
We want to find everything wrong with it to keep you from buying it, starting a bad relationship, And
the 97 Escort, that's pretty low. Yeah, that's low mileage.
Super low.
That might have been one of the Sun City Sweethearts, or it might have been one where the odometer got rolled back. If it's rolling around with $ sign written in the window with shoe polish, it may not be the right one. But you've got to get the car checked out. And depending on what the budget, I tell people at the shop too. They're I'm going to go buy a new car. What's your budget? $5,000. Good. Go buy a $4,000 car. Go find one. But don't buy it until somebody inspects it.
Have somebody inspect it. And you're going to have to put some money into it when you first buy it just to get it caught up, because the guy that's selling it, he didn't go necessarily fix everything on it. Now, some people do. But to the point earlier, when I have somebody with a broken car and they're looking at a $2,500 repair, they say, well, I'll just go buy a good used car. And then I have to tell them, half the cars that we look at, someone just bought. And now they're spending $2,500 with me. So that's what we want to try and avoid, is that big repair that we didn't see coming.
And used cars prices have dropped a little bit in the last couple months. It's a little softer market right now. My other thing is, whether you're buying a new car or a used car, go drive it. Drive it. If you have 3 kids, take the 3 kids with you car shopping and load them up and go for a ride. See how everybody fits. Does the car seat fit right? Don't find out it doesn't have this thing that you want, or it makes your back hurt after driving for 20 minutes.
This is a big deal to Matt, because he's been Mr. Mom now for like 2 weeks, because his no, actually for like a month and a half, because his mother-in-law, who helps out with his 5 Bambinos that run around, so he's been playing bus driver. I call his work. Is Matt in that? No, he's taking the kids to school.
You said Bambinos. You're trying to say something? But no, when we bought my wife's new car several years ago, the car, you put the car seat in. Now it's too narrow. An adult can't sit in the back seat. It's all crammed in. Maybe we would have done something different if we were thinking. I got all worked. Oh, look at this. It's got that.
Oh, it's a nice car.
Yeah, but throw a car seat in, it's not so nice.
Well, if you're looking at a big, expensive repair, and when you bought it, it was just you and your wife, and it's a convertible, and now you have 3 kids, maybe it is time. So that's a good question to ask you. Does it really still fit your needs, or did it fit my needs 5 years ago? Times have changed. Maybe that's something you want to look at. How well have you maintained the car? If you've totally neglected this car, and the thing is just a jalopy, maybe it's not worth spending $2,500.
Well, and the other thing, too, when you have the car checked out, don't just let the mechanic say, oh, yeah, it all looks good. What's all of it? What did you look at? And then maybe ask the question, what do you foresee in maintenance or breakdown possibilities in the next year so you can be prepared?
Well, we got Steve, John, and Sean, and one I can't pronounce. You're listening to Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Do you love your hybrid? Yep, we did too. Hi, my name is Brian. We bought our Prius to help with my wife's long commute back and forth to work. We love the get up and go and the fuel economy. But 8 years later, our MPG was eroding and the zip was gone. We tried everything from tune-ups to new tires. The dealership's answer was that's just the way it goes with hybrids, and that we were probably looking at a new battery at the cost of $4,000 to $6,000. Sound familiar? We were lost. Then we found the Hybrid Shop at GoodWorks Auto Repair. They were able to condition our battery to like new for a fraction of the cost. The Zip and the 40-plus MPG is back. We're in love again with our Prius and the Hybrid Shop at GoodWorks Auto Repair.
Thanks for the kind words, Brian. Hi, Glenn Hayward for the Hybrid Shop at GoodWorks Auto Repair. Fall in love again with your hybrid. For details, go to goodworksautorepair.com.
KTAR-FM, Glendale, Phoenix.
News Talk 92.3 KTAR.
Life's good news often comes with a little bad news, right? Hi, this is Dave Riccio, owner of Tri-City Transmission. Car repair seems to follow that same trend. The good news? Transmissions are lasting twice as long as they used to. The bad news? They can cost as much as $1,000 more than you might remember. So if you're going to have to spend money on a new transmission, you want to be sure you really need it. And if you do, that it's done by an experienced pro at a fair price. For over 40 years, Tri-City Transmission has built a reputation for having the experience, expertise, and honesty for knowing not only how to sell and replace transmissions, but also for how to repair and service your transmission. When we do have to recommend a major repair, you can be assured you're getting an honest recommendation and a job done right at a fair price. You have my guarantee on it. Tri-City Transmission, where friends send their friends. Come check us out online at tricitytransmission.com. That's tricitytransmission.com.
Are you looking for a refreshing change in customer service? I'm Lee Weatherby from Accurate Automotive. How about a refreshing change in your car repair relationship with honest, clear, and responsive service that looks out for your needs and not ours? For over 20 years, we've been delivering award-winning service provided by ASE-certified technicians with one goal, looking out for your best interest. If it needs fixing, we'll tell you. If it doesn't, you'll know that too. I guarantee that you will not get that business-as-usual treatment at Accurate Automotive. Foreign and domestic, cars, trucks, and even fleet service, Accurate can handle your job. I invite you to come in and experience a refreshing difference in car repair and maintenance. Stop by for a free courtesy inspection, a $49 value. We feel it is well worth our investment in you because we know that good long-term relationships start early with your first walk through our doors. I'm Lee Weatherby, and I'll be there to greet you. Accurate Automotive, home of friends serving friends, just off Broadway and Robeson in Mesa since 1992. For more information, check us out at AccurateAutomotiveAZ.com today.
News Talk 92.3 KTAR.
Ah, yes, the lazy days of summer are back, and that means pool parties, vacations, and backyard barbecues. Oh, and yeah, it also means the termites, scorpions, roaches, and ants are back. Ever get up to get that late-night glass of water in the dark only to have the hair rise on the back of your neck as something crawls across your feet? Don't fret. Call Kaiko Pest Prevention. Kaiko can seal, treat, and maintain your home and property while virtually eliminating your bug worries. All that, and they back it up with an industry-best 100% owner's pride guarantee. Kaiko is a one-stop solution for all your pest prevention needs. A+ rated by the BBB. They're quick, dependable, and affordable. Right now, Geico is offering $100 off home sealing, as well as 50% off your first month's service. So don't be held hostage by the bugs. Call Geico Pest Prevention today at 480-964-8900 for a free home inspection, or go to GeicoPestPrevention.com for more info. Geico Pest Prevention. We're crazy about quality.
Bumper to Bumper on News Talk 92.3 KTAR.
Welcome back to Bumper Radio on this first kind of chilly day of October. And we are here, as always, every Saturday to help you with your car at 11. He's Dave Riccio from Tri-City Transmission. I'm Matt Allen from Virginia Auto Service. And we are talking about replacing cars, buying used cars, the price, the god-awful high prices of our new cars, and why it may be worth not digging that hole for that Old Faithful yet.
Keeping old Bessie. And we've got a silent guy in studio today. We've got Jimmy, who spent a lot of years working the dealership, and he made a good point. He said, man, cars don't last just 100,000 miles anymore. They last 200,000 miles easy. A little bit of maintenance, you can make a car go a long ways. We did a show on 9 ways to make your car go 200,000 miles. Your expectation has to change. We don't just throw it away because it's got 100,000 miles on it anymore. I mean, cars used to be worn out at 70 sometimes.
Well, you don't have to even change the oil to 100,000 miles.
You don't?
Well, that's what they say. No. A little facetious there. But if you take care of them, there's no reason. 100,000 is like the 50,000 of old. I mean, you just, no big deal. Do the maintenance. Don't get hung up in the marketing department's version of how things work. And there's no reason these cars can't make a $150, 200,000 miles.
We don't have a lot of time for you, but you got some sort of special going over there at Virginia Auto Service?
We do. Myself, Virginia Auto Service downtown, in Lee Weatherby at Accurate Automotive in Mesa are amongst a group of people nationwide who are doing a promotion, Brakes for Breasts, for the month of October. And in our shops, you can come in and get free brake pads. You're not going to get a free brake job. You come in, and the brake pad portion of your brake job is absolutely free. We've worked with a vendor; they're going to provide those, and they're not providing the 99-cent brake pads that you get at some shops. It's whatever brake pad we deem necessary that we would normally put on your car to do a quality job. And then on top of that, you get the free brake pads. We're going to donate 10% of the labor portion or any ancillary parts that you need to properly do your brake job. It's going to the Cleveland Clinic's breast cancer research. It's a nationwide deal. It's pretty cool.
Well, it sounds like a good deal. You can find both Virginia Auto Service and Accurate Automotive and a lot of other great shops at bumpertobumperradio.com. We are going to go with John. Looks like he's in Minnesota on a 2000 S10 Blazer. Go ahead, John. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Good morning, guys. Quit complaining about the weather. It's 49 degrees, cold, windy, and rainy here. So.
I was going to say, it's not so chilly here, right?
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait to get back there. This thing, periodically, it's got a V6, about 180,000 miles on it. Periodically, it idles high, and then periodically, when you stop at a stop sign, it'll die from idling too low.
Okay. Could be a fairly simple item on that car. Is it here in Phoenix, or is it up there in Minnesota?
No, it's up here.
Okay. Well, that car is going to have what's called a idle control motor, or IAC, and all that is, it's a bypass. It's an air bypass. It's a controlled air leak or vacuum leak around the throttle body. When you're stepping on the throttle, you're going to open that butterfly up and allow air into the engine. So to achieve the right idle, the computer is constantly working and adjusting. It's opening and closing the stepper motor that's just changing the size of the orifice that's allowing air to get in. And that air is dirty. It's recirculated crankcase ventilation air, PCV air that's coming into the engine through the air filter isn't always clean. And that idle air control motor can get carboned up and dirty. That would be one of the first things I would be looking at, especially if it's erratic. If it was just low, depending on the type of system on the car, I might be looking at a vacuum leak. In some cases, a vacuum leak will make a car idle very high, though, depending if it's got a MAP sensor or if it's using a mass airflow sensor, what the strategy is. So I'd be looking at an idle control motor being carboned up, or if it's not getting the proper information from the computer, telling it to open, telling it to close, and making that adjustment. But it might be worn out, or it could simply just be dirty. That would be the first step if it were in my shop.
Certainly not a reason to put old Bessie down.
No, what's that? What do you say, 180,000 miles or
I think
something?
he said 160. But most of these phone calls we get are 150, 160. I mean, it happens all the time. There's no reason a car's not good for at least 200,000 miles and sometimes 300,000
Now,
miles.
in Minnesota, it might have this...
A little bit of rust.
Yeah, it might be
I'm so
falling
thankful
apart,
we don't have to work on rusty cars in this town. We get one from out of state, we're like, we're working on that here?
Well, you know, ironically enough, I used to live in Virginia, and it was not uncommon to have the torches out when you're working. I mean, you were lighting them up every day to heat up rusted nuts and bolts. And I've got a guy from Ohio at my shop, and he, you know, we see a car with rust, or some of my techs that are Arizona natives, they go, "Oh my God, look at the rust in this thing! It's got some surface rust where the sprinklers went on the rotor or something. They don't quite know how to handle it." Interesting.
602-277-5827, 602-277, KTAR. Thanks for the call, John. We're going to go with Steve in Glendale. Looks like on a 2000 Chevrolet Silverado. Go ahead, Steve. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Good morning. Thank you. Yeah, on my truck, I got leather interior, and the driver's seat is all ripped up, all torn apart. Is there somebody you would recommend to reupholster that, redo it?
I've got a guy that we use in our shop, and I don't know his name or number off the top of my head. If you go to bumpertobumperradio.com, go to the contact link and send us an email, I'll get you hooked up with somebody. But there's guys that are used car reconditioners and such, and they can fix those no problem. They put an insert in that I know right where you're talking about, right in this side edge of the seat where you're getting in and out of it all the time. We can fix those up. They'll just stitch in a new piece of leather, or sometimes they can patch them. But if it's pretty far gone, they'll put a new piece of leather in. They can typically do that right in the car. They
fix them up great.
The dash, might bubble, or you get some torn thing, or we've, unfortunately sat in a car with a screwdriver or something in the pocket, or you get the armrest is all worn out. These guys can work miracles with stuff.
For sure. Thanks so much for the call, Steve. We're going to go in with Tom in Gilbert on a 2006 Nissan Armada. Go ahead, Tom. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, on my 06 Armada, I've got every once in a while you lose brake pressure and you get your brake light that turns on. It throws a code out. I've talked to the dealers and I've looked up on a few blogs and whatnot. It seems to be a common problem across the board for the Armada and the brake system. I've had recommendations. You need a new booster. You need this. You need your EDC program, reprogram, that kind of thing. But the more I read on it, it seems like there's not really a fix, and I wanted to get your opinion on that.
When you say you lose brake pressure, what do you mean by that? And then what's the code that you got? The information.
When you hit the brake, it just goes to the floor, and you feel like your ABS is kicked on. You get that little pump in the pedal, and there's like minimal, about 20% brake pressure. You turn the vehicle off, you turn it back on, you're good to go again for another month or two till it happens again.
Well, what happens when you step on that, and after your slight heart attack, if you're coming and you've only got 20% braking, you're not shutting the car off, and then while you're stopping, how do you get the car to stop? You just, praying and holding on and stepping on the brake harder, or how do you?
Fortunately, it's always been nothing real high mileage or whatnot.
No,
and
okay.
Unfortunately, I've got to the point where sometimes the brake light will kick on, and it's coming. And so I'm just trying to figure out what the actual fix for it is.
Well,
I've seen it. It seems to be a common problem. Everybody I talk to with an Armada, same year or older, has at least ran into it 2 or 3 times. And there's a lot of people that have replaced the boosters, done what Nissan has recommended, and doesn't fix the problem. I'm just wondering what your opinion is.
Well, I guess the first thing I would do is, you can go online, you can find anything about your car that you want to be wrong with it, and there'll be somebody talking about it. So,
Google Gnostics?
Yeah,
Google Gnostics.
Yeah,
that was a word that Jim patented.
But if there's a program update that's available, that's the first place you're going to start. I hate to get in the situation of, you go to the shop or you go to the dealer and they say a brake booster is going to fix it. Well, is that going to fix it or not? And what are you going to do? Is this a guess or a fix or any of that kind of thing? There's got to be logic for what we're going to do when we fix the car. So if there's a program available, we'll do the program. That may or may not fix it. The other thing that you said was you cycle the key and you wait until it happens again in a month. That might be very difficult to find. But what I can say, cycling the key will do absolutely nothing to the brake booster. The brake booster is a mechanical issue, so I would tend to believe that that's not it. Be looking at a controller. We've had a couple Ford products where it makes you think the master cylinder is bad, but in reality, it's the analog brake system controller. Those valves are sticking or hanging open, or there's a piece of debris in there. So when you go to apply pressure, it's just bypassing as if the ABS were engaging. So you could have a problem with a controller.
Well, Tom, you're in Gilbert. If you don't have a shop that you regularly work with, we've got Desert Car Care out there. They're good guys. The other one I think of, Nissan specialist, is Joel at Arizona Imports. I'm waiting for him to text me the answer because it sounds like a pattern failure. You're describing something that regularly happens. So waiting for him to text me the answer, and if he does,
stay tuned. Joel is always hot on the iPhone, laying down the answers.
And then also you can send us an email at bumpertobumperradio.com on the contact link, and then we'll respond to you. We find some more information for you that you may not have just via Google. So thanks so much for the call, Tom. And that puts us up for a little bit of, let's see if I can get this right.
It's time for Fact or Fiction.
We had a text on this. We had somebody with a 2006, I think a V8 Toyota 4Runner, and their text was, how often do I service my transmission? Before the show, I got a text from a friend that said, I've got this 2000 and I think it's a 2012, 2013 Toyota Tacoma, and I've been told that it's a sealed unit and there's no service necessary. And this...
It was a 2011, so, yeah.
Yeah, so the fact or fiction, I guess I biffed that, but do I service my transmission? Is it sealed, and does that need to happen? Fact or fiction?
Dave, you didn't present it in a fact or fiction
I totally
format,
screwed it up.
So I'll just answer the question. The transmission, of course, it's sealed because it's not just leaking, but it's not sealed up and welded closed like you can't drain it. It may not be. It may be sealed to the guy at the drive-through lube shop that is on the corner, but it's not sealed for the professional technician that has the right. Maybe the car doesn't come with a dipstick. There's no way to easily get there for a hairy homeowner in the garage, but for trained technicians, yes, you can get into it, and yes, you do need to service the transmission.
You do need to service. I responded. He said, how often do I do it? And I said, every 30,000 miles.
Well, speaking of transmissions, transmission, I would say, is maybe the number one question. If not, it's definitely fighting for a spot on the podium there, whether you need to service them, how you fix them, whatever. And what is it, Saturday, October 26th, we will be broadcasting live from Tri-City Transmission in Tempe. Dave, you're feeding everybody. You got some food trucks going out there.
We got the grilled cheese food truck coming out. I've got all the transmission technicians on site to just answer questions, free advice. And then we've got transmissions that are taken apart on display that people can look at so you can see what the heck is in the middle of this thing. And what's all this talk about service, don't service.
But not just transmissions, though. You're going to have cars up on the rack so we can see the importance of mounts and axles and rear differentials, and it's not some greasy gearhead shop. It'll be a good thing to come out, and probably something for kids.
We'll have a lot of shop owners from Bumper to Bumper Radio that'll be joining us as well.
Who doesn't like grilled cheese?
Oh, it's great. So we've got James and Daryl and open lines at 602-277-5827. You're listening to Bumper Radio.
Golf course conditions in Arizona are picturesque in the fall. With perfect temps and true parkland courses, you can't beat golfing at the Wigwam this season. And while other Valley golf clubs are closed for overseeding, Wigwam Golf boasts 3 18-hole championship courses, the Gold, Patriot, and Heritage. So there's no disruption to play. Featuring intricately designed courses by the legendary Robert Trent Jones Sr., the Wigwam offers unmatched diversity and challenge. Visit wigwamgolf.com to book a tee time today or find out more about their overseeding schedule and courses.
Whether you live or work in Central Phoenix, there are a lot of reasons why so many of your friends, coworkers, and neighbors choose Virginia Auto Service to take care of their vehicles. An elite bumper-to-bumper radio approved and BBB A+ rated shop right down the street at 7th Street in Virginia. Free transportation to and from your home or office. A free car wash with every service. After-hours drop-off. ASE certified technicians. 6 months same as cash OAC. A Valley Best 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on all their work. Yep, for 18 years, your friends and neighbors have been choosing Virginia Auto Service for all the right reasons. Quality service at a fair price. So don't watch summer pass you by from the side of the road. Come check out all their online specials at VirginiaAutoservice.com and make sure your car or truck beats the heat this season. Virginia Auto. They're serious about service.
Hi, this is Greg LaFonsi of Automotive Diagnostic Specialties. Long name, right? But we have a short, simple goal. Customer satisfaction is our number one priority, and everything else takes care of itself. Bumper to Bumper Radio approved. ADS is a family-owned and operated state-of-the-art repair facility that has an expert staff that for the second straight year has earned the coveted AAA Top Shop Award as one of the best shops in the nation. Just east of I-10 on Chandler Boulevard. Find us at automotiveddiagnosticspecialties.com.
This is Bumper to Bumper, News Talk 92.3, KTAR.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I'm Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and we are here to help you with your car. Talking today a little bit about when is it time to put old Bessie down, and we've got a text. It's a text from 602. No, it's a 95 Geo Prism, 187,000 miles, and she's got a list of stuff, she or he, of stuff that's wrong with the car. Tires, struts, strut plates, valve problems,
oil leak.
I mean, the list goes on, and this one may be a situation where it is time to put Bessie down. But a 95 Geo Prism is a Toyota Corolla, essentially. I mean, which is a good car. So. But this is where you got to have the conversation. If you are going to keep the car, are you gonna deal with Bessie's hip problem, or are you just going to leave that alone?
Well, Dave, what it says here, and I don't know if this is a he or a she or whatever, but it's got all this list. We want to know what the repair replace calculator says, and we'd have to have some more information to put in there. But the other thing it says, I have to do this, piecemeal at a time because of income. So we're probably not going out and buying a new car. Maybe we're not going to go buy a very expensive used car either, because we're going to end up with what we have right now. So the thing that Dave and I always preach is there is nothing wrong with getting this list. You want to be informed, just like going to the doctor or dentist, whatever. Are you going for a cleaning? If you've got a hole or a cavity in your tooth, you certainly want to know about it. You've got to communicate.
Doesn't mean you got to fix it all, though.
Right. You've got to communicate with the service advisor. Maybe you ask them, show me, how bad is that oil leak? Do I really need to fix that? Sounds like you need to take care of the things that are going to make your car break down or have the potential to leave you on the side of the road or safety. And that's where I'm going to start at my shop. Tires, possibly. Struts are not going to make the car break down.
No.
I mean, they could be really bad where the thing's just horrible.
If they're really bad and they're unsafe and you're going to get a wreck and a panic stop, we got to do something about them. But sometimes struts are just one of those, they're one of those comfort items that you can actually skip out on.
Speedometer needs calibration. Nah, that's not going to break you down. I mean, you can probably judge how fast you need to be going off of everybody else. Hoses, maybe the thermostat's bad. Well, wintertime you may not have any heat, so we might be talking about that. So go have a conversation and get in the comfort zone and have them lay it all out with estimates, break it up, prioritize it, and that's how the approach should be to fixing that.
Well, I'm going to take a couple more here, then we'll go back to phone calls. But an 03 G35 coupe, squeaking noise under the dash, sounds like mad, ravenous chipmunks. Ideas where to look. Sounds like a blower motor going bad to me. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, maybe something. Well, I was going to say something. I've had car before in my excursion, suck up a napkin off the floor and it goes in the motor. But you're not going to get that with a car that's got a cabin air filter. So
for sure. Hey, and Joel finally came through. He said top-notch upholstery. They're out in Mesa for the gentleman calling on upholstery, but this guy was out in sounds like Glendale. So still shoot us an email. But top-notch upholstery is a good one. Another guy said 04 Titan, same problem as the Armada. It was a brake booster, and then Joel said brake booster. So thank you, Joel, from Arizona Imports. You might look there. I think his name was John.
You know what's funny, Dave? Now, there's two people that said brake booster, and here I am saying I'm not thinking of brake booster because you've got to cycle the key. And, we laughed about this the other day when you were gone. Rob was filling in. We were talking. A guy called, and I said, well, it sounds like maybe a throw-out bearing because of the way – if you can influence the noise by stepping on the pedal, well, it turns out the guy came in your shop and it had a bad motor mount.
Yeah, but Dave with the 06 Mazda Speed 6, and he goes, well, Matt said He said it was going to be the throwout bearing. I said, well, was I there that day? And he said, no, Rob was in. I said, well, Matt doesn't know.
Well, but it's just funny. I mean, we are obviously here to do the best we can do to help you, entertain you just a little bit, and
we're just not that entertaining.
And get you pointed in the right direction on your repair. So don't take everything that we say as if it's going to be the repair. We get a lot of emails from mechanics that listen. You dumb. You know?
No one says anything like that. But then we do get some armchair quarterbacking. Well, we're going to go with, looks like James. I'm sorry, no, we're going to go with Daryl and Gilbert on a 2004 Grand Cherokee. Go ahead, Daryl. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hey, guys. Good to talk to you today. I have a Jeep Cherokee, and my thing is that I want to do I want to clean the intake valves, and I understand that you can take that you can put seafoam and suck it through the vacuum line. My issue is that you need to make sure that the vacuum line actually draws into all the cylinders as opposed to just one single cylinder. And how's the best way to find that information out? Or do you guys know?
Well, you can do that. That's a good service. The seafoam is good and to do that, but you've got to just try and find either a central port, something.
Is it a 4-liter or a 4-liter or V8?
I don't know. I put him back on hold. Daryl, what is that? A 4-cylinder or a 4-liter or a V8 engine?
Yeah, 4.0 inline 6.
Right.
Yeah, there's a main port right off the manifold right there where the brake boosters come in.
But that problem is, Dave, on that brake booster, if it's not centrally located, for example, if that's just over, like, say, the number 4 and 5 cylinder part of the intake manifold, you're going to suck that in there, and it's going to clean number 4 and 5. They will be great, but the 1, 2, 3, and 6 are dirty. So you've really got to find a central location to fog that in. The other thing that you can do, you've got to be careful. You hook that thing up to the brake booster line, you just suck in 16 ounces. You could hydrolock that engine, so you've got to be
really bad.
careful. Don't just inhale that whole thing. GM carbureted cars, we used to use the top engine cleaner, and you run the engine, you've got your hand on the throttle, and you just start pouring it down the throttle blade a little bit. And that thing's going to start smoking. I mean, it will definitely take care of the mosquitoes in the neighborhood. Make sure you close your windows at home and start feeding that seafoam into the throttle body. And you can keep revving the engine. Then I would just kind of pour it, and then as it stalls, and then just let it sit. Let that thing sit for a half hour with all that stuff in the intake manifold, on the valves. Maybe crank it over by hand to make sure you didn't get too much in there. And once you've turned the engine a revolution or two, fire that bad boy up. It may have a hard time starting, and just blow it out. Finish dumping the rest of the stuff in there.
I know if I remember driving down 7th Street and I'm somewhere near Virginia and I see smoke coming out of there, that's what you guys are doing down there.
Good Lord.
Carbon is such a problem on newer direct injection vehicles. Carbon is just, a lot of people say, you don't have to do these carbon services. That's just not true anymore.
Well, and there's a difference between the $89 carbon service that the guy is trying to sell you at the car wash, that go donate your money to breast cancer awareness instead of getting that. You've got to spend the money and get it done right. I mean, there's some of them you got a Volkswagens, you're breaking the stuff out of there with a chisel or walnut blasting, so there's a process.
Thanks for joining us. If you're looking for a good shop, bumpertobumperradio.com. Thanks, Peter, for running the dials. Remember never to text in drive. And don't forget about October 26th. Matt and I will be on location at Tri-City Transmission. Bumper to Bumper Radio and Tri-City are feeding you lunch. We're talking about transmissions, which is my absolute favorite topic. I don't know why. So glad you could join us. We'll see you next week.
Have you been told you need to spend over $4,000 on a new hybrid battery? Hi, Glenn Hayward here for the Hybrid Shop at Good Works Auto Repair. If your hybrid has been losing fuel efficiency or become sluggish, the problem may be a battery issue. But replacing the battery with the dealer for $4,000 or $5,000 is crazy when the Hybrid Shop at Good Works Auto Repair can condition your battery to like new for as low as $1,300. Visit goodworksautorepair.com for details. Experience what auto service should be.
Now our dust storms are a haboob? Really? Haboob or not, when the summer storms come, they can bring the damaging winds and rains that could leave you and your home in bad shape. Don't wait for an emergency. If your roof is more than 10 years old, have the trusted pros at Kaiko Roofing give you a free inspection today. Flat, foam, tile, or shingles, Kaiko handles them all. From a small leak to a complete new roof, Kaiko has you covered. At Kaiko, we're proud to install peace of mind by using only the finest materials with the most skilled workers, all backed by the industry's best owner's pride guarantee. Since 1994, Kaiko has repaired or replaced tens of thousands of valley roofs, with over 50% of our business coming from referrals or repeat customers. In fact, over 98% of our customers say they would refer us to a friend or family member. For a free checkup and financing options, call 602-944-4600 or go to KaikoRoofing.com for more details. Kaiko Roofing. We're crazy about quality.